Hello, we are the instrumental music teachers for 5th grade. We teach band and orchestra classes, and you will be in either the band or the orchestra next year.
I'm Mr. Tiganelli, and I teach band.
I'm Ms. Balamuki, and I also teach band.
I'm Mrs. Van Eisenga, and I teach orchestra.
I'm Mr. Weiss, and I also teach orchestra. In 5th grade, you get to learn one musical instrument in either the orchestra or band class. There are so many instruments that you can choose from. We're going to show you all of them, and soon you will get the chance to try some of them out. But there won't be time to try all of them. So what we're going to do in this video is show you 3 types of instruments. There's the woodwind family of instruments, the brass and percussion, and the string instruments. Try to choose your favorite from each type of instrument, your favorite woodwind, your favorite brass or percussion, and your favorite string, and those are the ones that you're going to try out at Instrument Fittings.
The first instrument we're going to talk about today is part of the woodwind family, and this is called the flute. We make sound on the flute by blowing air across the head joint, kind of similar to how you blow air across an empty bottle. On the flute, we change our note by pressing down all of these keys that are underneath my fingers. And it looks like a lot, but we're going to show you how to play them one by one, so it won't be too much at first. I'm going to play a song for you on the flute called Sunroof. Something to think about when you're choosing an instrument is that there's no such thing as boy or girl instruments. You can choose to play any instrument that you like. Other important things to think about when you're picking out an instrument is how it sounds, how you hold the instrument, and if you like high or low sounds. Our second instrument is also part of the woodwind family. This instrument is called the clarinet. The clarinet uses a mouthpiece that we put into our mouth and we blow air through the instrument. The clarinet also uses this little piece of wood called a reed, and when we blow our air through the instrument, it makes the reed vibrate, which is what creates the sound. There are also a lot of keys on the clarinet, but just like the flute, we're going to teach you how to play them one at a time. I'm going to play a song for you on this instrument called Uptown Funk.
This is the alto saxophone. There are different size saxophones. Some are larger than this. The one we use in 5th grade is the alto saxophone. And you'll notice that it's mostly made out of metal, looks like brass, but it uses a reed like the clarinet did, so that makes it a woodwind instrument. I support the instrument by using this neck strap. That's part of the stuff we have to have for it. And then here's the song. You'll see me moving the keys and playing different notes. So this was the alto saxophone, and it's from the woodwind family.
Before we go on to part 2, brass and percussion, choose your favorite woodwind instrument, the flute, clarinet, or alto saxophone. Which one do you want to try at Instrument Fittings?
Our next instrument is the trumpet, and it's from the brass family. It's the highest sounding brass instrument. You'll notice that it has 3 valves. I'll be using those to change notes. And I make sound on the trumpet by buzzing my lips. Here's a song for you. probably recognize Seven Nation Army. I want to make sure that everybody knows all of these songs that you'll hear in this video can be played on any of these instruments. So really think about how the instrument's played and what it sounds like when you're deciding which instruments you're interested in.
Our next instrument is called the trombone. Mr. Tiganelli told us that we make sounds on brass instruments by buzzing into the mouthpiece, and I'm going to show you what that sounds like. The trombone is part of the low brass family, so it can play lower notes, and it changes notes by moving the slide in and out. I'm going to play a song for you on our trombone from the movie Star Wars. This next instrument is also part of our brass family, and it's called the euphonium. Sometimes it's also called the baritone, and either of those names are correct. It's very similar to the trombone, but instead of using a slide, we press these valves down, just like on trumpet. I'm going to play a song for you on euphonium called Havana. So, some things to think about when you're choosing the instrument is don't choose an instrument just because your friend is choosing it. We want to make sure that you're picking an instrument that you really like and that you really want to play this school year. Before we go on to part 3, strings, choose your favorite brass instrument, trumpet, trombone, or euphonium. Which one do you want to try at fittings?
So next we're going to talk about the string instruments. The string instruments play in orchestra class. The first one I'm going to show you is the bass. We usually call it the double bass. It also could be called contrabass or string bass. It has a lot of names. It's the largest instrument in the orchestra. It's the largest string instrument, and it is the lowest sounding because it's so big. We stand to play the bass and we learn how to balance it. And we have a special kind of bow for this. So I'm going to play a song and then I'll tell you a little bit more about it. So since the bass is so big, you might be thinking, I couldn't play something that big. But you actually can, because string instruments come in different sizes for different sized people. So as we grow, we trade in our smaller instrument for a bigger one until you get to an adult size instrument like this. Also, since the bass is so big, we're not going to bring it back and forth to school twice a week for orchestra class. So your family is going to get you a bass to play at home, and then we will provide one for you to play at school. It's just too big to bring back and forth. This is also true of one of our band instruments, the euphonium, which is pretty big and really heavy. So you also, if you played the euphonium, would have your own euphonium at home, and then we would give you one to play at school so you don't have to bring it back and forth. The next orchestra instrument is the cello. It's not as big as the bass, but it's still pretty big, so we have to sit down to play this instrument. There are actually 2 different ways to play a string instrument. You've seen us play with the bow, but we can also play with a technique called pizzicato, where we pluck the string. The next string instrument I'm going to show you is the viola. And a lot of people get confused about what the viola is. But it's a lot like the violin. It's played on the shoulder, but I'll show you the difference. The viola is actually a little bit bigger than the violin. So you can see in this hand I have a violin. It's a little smaller than the viola. Viola is bigger. When you're a student, I said before that we size instruments to your body. So when you're a student, sometimes you can't tell the difference in size between violin and viola, but it's actually a lower sounding instrument where the violin is the highest sounding one. So I'll play a little bit on the viola so you can hear how low it goes. And if you know that song, that's the theme from Pirates of the Caribbean.
So this is the violin, and like Mrs. Van Uysinga showed you, it's like the viola, except smaller, and it sounds higher. But not all violins are this big, and not all violas are that big. In fact, here is another violin. This is a grown-up size violin. It might be too big for you to play, but all the string instruments also come in smaller sizes. This is a half-size violin. It might be more comfortable for you. When you try out the string instruments at fittings, they'll actually figure out which size is best for you. That's why they call it fittings. And the same is true for the cello and bass. So don't worry about, oh no, I'm a small person. I couldn't play the cello, that's too big. No, that was a grown-up size cello. You might play a cello that's much smaller that would be the right size for you. Here's what the violin sounds like. Before we finish the video, choose your favorite string instrument. Bass, cello, viola, or violin. Which one do you want to try at fittings?
Next year, anyone interested in playing percussion will need to play a woodwind or brass instrument for the first half of the year. In the winter, it would be possible to switch to percussion if you demonstrate good skills on the woodwind or brass instrument. Only woodwind or brass students would have the option to switch to percussion. Orchestra students will not have the option to switch to percussion. Up next are our percussion instruments. We have two instruments that we focus mainly on in 5th grade, and you do have to do both. Those two instruments are the bells. You'll notice that this is set up kind of like a piano keyboard, the way the keys are. And sometimes people call it the xylophone, but it's really the bells because of the way the keys are made and the range it plays in. So this is the bells. It's our melody instrument. The other instrument we have is the snare drum. That's our drum instrument. And all this stuff and the stand, the sticks and balance all go in this case. It's kind of big, but it rolls. So if you can handle all this equipment and carry this case around, slide it, roll it, you'll be a good percussionist. The snare drum can only play rhythms, so I'm going to play some rhythms on the snare drum, but you won't recognize a melody like a song. You'll see what I mean. So the snare drum plays the rhythm or helps us keep time in the band and the beat. It really helps if you have a good sense of time or a good sense of rhythm if you're a percussionist. Now moving to the bells, that's our melody instrument. I can play all kinds of songs and tunes on the bells. This is one everybody knows.
I hope you enjoyed these instrument demonstrations. Remember to pick your favorite woodwind, your favorite brass, and your favorite string instrument to try out at fittings. See you there.